Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Geli Asofsky here. How are you all today? Welcome to our live weekly parenting Q&A. We'll take a few moments to wait till people get on. And I always have my prepared questions that I get from parents, from moms. So we'll get started in about a minute. Meanwhile, let me tell you a little bit about myself, but first the tea. Okay, good to go now. I am Geli Asofsky. I'm a child and family therapist. I am a registered play therapy supervisor. I'm also an EMDR consultant. I've been practicing now for 20 years. And my claim to fame is my children and 2 grandchildren now. I'm a very active grandma and I love children. That's me. Children are my everything. Now, a little bit about what I'm doing online is I've got a Facebook group, Parenting with Geli, to support moms, to just post inspiration. I do the lives weekly, talk about things that are going on that are important for moms to know. I also have a parenting course that I've recently launched online. So if you're interested in getting details about how to be a positive parent, how to learn how to connect with your children through the power of nurture and play the non-tech way, then this is a course for you. I am doing a promo offer of $497 at this point for this 8-week course, which is built in with a Facebook group and a special community to just give a promo as I launch online. You can always reach out to me. I will post a Calendly link in the comments below after the live. So if you'd like to connect with me, hear what this is all about, I'll be happy to touch base with you. Okay, so what are your questions as a mother? Do you have a little baby, a toddler, and you're in that stage and age where you're overwhelmed and you're feeling like, just help me. It's all about the physical labor. It's all about the sleepless nights. It's all about just trying to get through the day. Or are you a mother who has children 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? Sorry. And you're looking for practical solutions, how to support yourself and your kids in this complicated, turbulent world that we live in. Life for all of us changed about 1.5 years ago with COVID, and depending on where you live, things are easier, things are getting back to normal, and in some areas around the world, in pockets of places, even in the US, people are still having to quarantine. There are active COVID cases, and parents are just desperate. And this is why I'm here today. This is why I give that time to support you as a mother, so that you can do the job that you want to do in the right way, that you can fulfill your role as a mother while feeling good about yourself. That's what we need. We don't need any of the blaming and the shaming and the guilt. Throw that out the window. We need to feel good about ourselves, and I will teach you how. So let me get to, first of all, I always have a problem with seeing if there are questions on my computer. Okay, I'll open Facebook on my phone. That's the trusty option right there. And then I will look and see if there's anybody on here. If you're on here, let me know. I see a comment section, so just give it a second and let's do this. Okay, I'm just checking. Feel like there's a million things that happen with social media. How about you? It's like we're just trying to make sure that we've got it all together. Okay, let me find that link to post in the comments before I forget. All right, I can do that soon. And I am on Facebook and in my parenting group. Let's see if we're all doing this the right way. Okay, I am here. This is good. Okay, so if there are any comments, you will please put them in there. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, so let me start with the first question that I wrote down, and here it is. Just getting that question. Okay. The question is, I have an 8-year-old that's constantly yelling. Everything is going wrong. Everything is upside down. There is never any relief for anybody, not his siblings, not us as parents. It is just so difficult. I believe he may have experienced the trauma when he was younger. I'm not sure. I don't know. But just please tell me how to deal with him. So, this is such an important question because, frankly, so many of our children go through traumas. It's very, very difficult. Some we know about their traumas, others we don't know, especially when it comes to sexual abuse or bullying. Not always do our children tell us, and then we're left feeling like, yikes, we didn't know when it comes out years and years later. So I'd like to share a couple of tips with you about what to do if you suspect that your child is struggling with trauma. Number one, I want to talk about the importance of doing time in instead of time out. Many of us really use time out very liberally. Our kids are acting out, we send them to their rooms, we're like, go calm down, and when you're done, come back and talk to me like a mensch, which is Yiddish for talk to me like a human being. But really, a child, if you suspect that they are struggling, what they really need is time in, to sit down with you and to really listen to what they're experiencing, what set them off, what's triggered them. My favorite way of doing this is to set up a 15-minute slot, literally a period of time where you know that you and your child can sit down on a daily basis and they can talk to you about whatever's going on. And that's sort of like a release valve. It gives them the information that they need it gives them the time they need to be able to talk to you about what they're experiencing. And my favorite is you create like a little worry box and a happy box. I like to use those recipe boxes because they sit nicely on the counter. You can use a little post-it note, and anytime throughout the day when they're frustrated, even in school, throughout the day, wherever they are, they can write their frustration. If it's an anxiety, if it's a worry, if it's an angry feeling, something that's bothering them, on that post-it note, they can draw it and put it in the recipe box. If they have happies, they can put it in the happy box. It's one of my favorite methods because when you sit down, and I've adapted this from a book called What to Do When You Worry Too Much by Dawn Hubner, easily available on Amazon, and it is one of my top books that I recommend to clients. So you sit down and they open the worry box first, and all the worries of the day can spill out. And then you tackle them one by one. Then we get to the happy box where we talk about happies. What made them happy throughout the day? Now, it's going to become very clear to you and your child if the happies are deficient. Because if the worries are overwhelming and the happies have one thing in there and none in there, we're going to work on building happies. So what happens when you take these 15, 20 minutes a day is you give your child the feeling that you care. Instead of being a disciplinarian, you let them know that you understand something's going on, you understand they're struggling, and you provide support. That's what time in is called. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have boundaries. It is very important to teach a child boundaries. But if you give your child time in, then when a child needs consequences, you can use the natural consequences to actions. Instead of sending them to timeout, you can have a list of skills that a child can use to help them when they get into this stuck place. And I also think if there are siblings around with a child who's constantly acting out, it's important to have a conversation with them and say, look, I know that your sibling is struggling, and this is why mom and dad are on it, and this is what we're doing to try and help on their level. And if you have a problem, come to me, talk to me, let me help you. Because they, by nagging a sibling, by saying not nice things to a sibling, they're not helping the situation. They're just triggering the child even more. So that's what I would do for a child who's struggling. I also want to say that for a child who's struggling, I want your relationship to become a little more positive instead of all these negative interactions around what to do about their yelling. Take an hour a week and have a standing date. Now, summer's coming up. Plan a list of 10 things you want to do together. They don't have to be expensive. It can be a walk around the block. It can be waking up to watch sunrise, going to the lake to watch sunset. It can be getting some ice cream or Ritas. It can be a big trip. But money is not the piece that we are worrying about here when it comes to connecting with your children. So I hope that's helpful to the mommy that asked that question. So it's just a little something to see in the next couple of weeks if that can make a difference. Okay. Let me look at our next question. Okay, this is an interesting one. My child doesn't like to talk when she comes home from school. So I bribe her because I want to hear what she says, what she has to say. Like, I don't like that she's not talking to me. So when I bribe her enough, she'll start talking. What do I do? Mom, don't use bribery to get your kid to open their mouths. If you want to give your kid a snack or a good thing, a piece of candy or whatever, when they come home from school, that's your prerogative as a mother. You get to decide what you want to do. Sometimes a kid doesn't want to talk when they come home. Sometimes it's their nature. Other times you need to build the trust so your child wants to talk to you. And you can also start talking about yourself, what you did during your day, your job, your stay-at-home mother, what you cooked, the laundry, who you spoke to, a family event, somebody got engaged, someone had a baby. Whatever age your child is, you can take what you did during the day and have a conversation with them. And you can ask them about their day, and if they say no, they don't want to talk, and they shrug their shoulders, say, well, mommy's interested in what you have to say. Mommy wants to know who your friends are, what you did, what the teacher said, if you like the snack, but I wouldn't push. Now, if you're worried that your child has a problem, per se, with social skills development, or they have a problem expressing themselves, sometimes it's actually, there's something in speech. There's expressive language and receptive language. So we usually get the kids help when it comes to receptive language, but we don't necessarily always get them help with expressive language. If I'm getting this right, we're understanding the world around them, being able to express it. So if you have an issue, go to your pediatrician, get your kid evaluated, talk to the doctor about your concerns, but don't bribe your child unless that's something that a therapist has told you to do. I especially know that she knows how to talk Because when you give her what she wants, she starts talking. Some manipulation there? I don't know. But think about it in the next time that you're talking with your daughter. Let's see what happens if you don't bribe. If you just have the snack on the table when she comes in the door, if you start talking about your day and then you ask her about her day, let me know how that helps. Okay, on to the next question. Let's see where that question is. This is an interesting one. My child likes to be alone. This is a 5-year-old. He likes to just come home, have his snack, go into the room, and be by himself hours and hours a day. Now, Gelly, I know that you recommend connecting with your children. Is it okay for a 5-year-old to just spend all that time alone? And the reason I'm concerned is because when he gets angry, he slams the door, and I hear him muttering behind closed doors, repeating the story over and over again until he calms himself and he leaves. Okay, so it's okay for children to spend some time playing with their favorite Legos, creating stuff. I don't know that I want children behind closed doors. I've just heard one too many stories, so I like when doors are open. Parents get to walk in and out every 10-15 minutes or so, comment on what their kids are doing, and just maintain a connection. So, honey, what are you doing with those Legos? And if it looks like they're building a school or an ambulance, what do they call it? Those sets? Or a police department, or a hospital set, or a train or a plane. There are all these like incredible sets, and some of the little kids, wouldn't you know, they're really good at all of those with those pieces. My nephew, who's almost 3 years old, is building cars. He has very good fine motor skills, so that's really cool. I would have thought they were for kids a little older, but whatever it is, the clicks, the magnet-tiles, kids are playing with a lot of these things, and you want to express interest in what's going on. A child who's angry and slamming the door, you don't ignore them. You follow them and you sit down, and if they're right near them and if they're too angry, you just say, I'm right here with you. I'm here when you want to talk. Somebody bothered you, you're upset, mommy's here. So we give the child the feeling that we hear that they're not alone in the world when they're overwhelmed. If a child keeps the door shut, you don't have to make a point of like, in this house, no one keeps the room shut. You can just open the door 5 minutes later and say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Ooh, you're playing? And then leave the door slightly ajar. That's what we want to do. Now, if they shut the door after you, you need to have that conversation and say, you know what? In this house, we don't shut doors. There's no reason to shut a door when you're playing, even when you're angry. Mommy's here. We're here to take care of you. So that's something that I really recommend. Okay, so I don't see any questions coming in. So this is kind of a little bit of a short live. These are the 3 that I picked from the comments I get, the DMs to just talk about in case we don't have anybody here. I know many mothers are at work, so that's the time of the day. Again, if you'd like to know more about what I do, feel free to DM me to request my Calendly link. I'll try to post it in the comments below, and join my Facebook group at Parenting with Gelly. All right, see you soon.